Hello and welcome to Open, everyone. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche. Always inviting you to get social with us online. That's right. Tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV and like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And of course, don't forget, while you're there, follow moi on Instagram, FB, Snapchat, LinkedIn, Insta Stories at Rhina Valentin. So, according to the CDC, there are 12 million Americans that are visually impaired and more than 1 million that are blind. The Foundation for Fighting Blindness is all about making a difference for people living with retinal disease. And joining us to discuss their 12th annual Vision Walk taking place April 14th, we welcome Foundation for Fighting Blindness Events Assistant Olivia Niemeyer. Hello and welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, this is, I think this is a topic that we need to shed a little more light on, right? And let's just talk a little bit about how you got involved first.
So I got involved with the Foundation Fighting Blindness because my grandmother suffered from macular degeneration, and that is the leading cause of blindness in those age 55 and older. So it is a lot more prevalent than one would think. People think inherited retinal disease, it's kind of confusing, but of those 12 million Americans that you spoke of, 10 million suffer from inherited retinal diseases, and those range from macular degeneration to retinitis pigmentosa to Usher syndrome.
And so you say inherited, and so are there any measures that can be taken to prolong it or prevent it?
Well, that's where the foundation kind of comes into play. So what we do is we fund research. We're completely research-based, and what the Vision Walk is funding is the research. So we fund preventions, treatments, and cures. So whether that's pausing someone's vision from becoming decreasingly worse or preventing any more vision loss.
So do you have any success stories?
Well, actually, in December 2017, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration approved a drug treatment called Luxturna, and it has been successfully proven to reduce vision loss.
Okay, so, just because I just recently had an experience with a friend who just went to the doctors just for a regular checkup, and then she had to have emergency surgery due to her retina. I don't know, something erupted in there. And so just in the eye care area, what kind of stories are coming about or coming into play in just this becoming a little bit more of a common?
Well, because it's genetic, we have a lot of stories that come in where someone brings their 1-year-old to the doctor for a common checkup, and they hear from the doctor, vision loss is going to be pretty prevalent in your child's life. And our goal is so that no one can go into the doctor and hear, your child is going to go blind from an inherited retinal disease. So people are going in with their 4-year-old because whether it's a recessive or dominant gene, they're finding out that they might be the carrier of this gene, even though they don't have vision loss, but now their 4-year-old is experiencing this decline in vision.
Okay, so you answered my question. Lovely, right? Because I didn't know exactly how to ask, right? Because the idea here is that this Vision Walk is created so that there's funds being raised so that you can fund the researching that needs to happen in order to create, I guess, a prolonged journey or prevent even possibly if we could get to that place.
Exactly.
Right?
So just remember, preventions, treatments, and cures. That's where the research really goes.
And so with the Vision Walk, are the walkers primarily vision impaired, or like how does this work?
So the Vision Walk is great because it's a good mix of people who are either supporting their friends or family members who are experiencing vision loss or people who are actually visually impaired. And it's really just a great day to celebrate their fundraising success. And the goal of our walk this year is to raise $301,000, and that all goes to sight-saving research. So it's really a fun day. We have refreshments, we have a kids zone, we have a stage presentation, and it's really to celebrate and stand in solidarity with those in the community.
That's lovely. And so let's talk a little bit about the effects diabetes has on eye loss.
So diabetes is something that, and in congruency with vision impairment, is something that we don't work with as much because even though diabetes can be, genetic, its relation is not an inherited retinal disease, but we do have support groups and other networking events, and as well as scientific speakers that come in, especially in New York City. And it really does serve the entire community of those who have visual impairments.
So what other services does your organization offer?
So as well as the VisionWalk, we run events. So we have dinners and galas, and those are all primarily fundraising events. But we also do have support groups, networking groups, and we bring in speakers. So we have a New York City chapter that's very active in the community, and all of our meetings are volunteer-led. So we have a great base of volunteers who really care about the organization, whether they have a visual impairment or it's a loved one. So it's a great community-based organization led by volunteers.
So it's membership-based. So
Yes.
how does one become a member?
So you can visit www.blindness.org and find out much more about the organization, how to become involved, and even it can be as simple as signing up for the email list just to know what's going on, whether you're in New York City or in San Diego, because we are a national organization.
That's wonderful. And are the workshops offered for the visually impaired, or?
It differs. We have some speaking events that are based on gene therapies. Some are just research updates for what's going on in the field of science. So it really is based on what our constituents need at that time.
So in your involvement in coordinating the Vision Walk, what is, what fulfills you the most?
I think what fulfills me the most is working with the committee, and these are our volunteers who also help us put on the event and really raise the funds. Working on it from we start all the way, 6-8 months before planning this, and then the day when everything comes together so perfectly, and of course it's over before you know it, but everyone is just so happy to celebrate and stand in solidarity with the Foundation Fighting Blindness, just celebrating the research and the funds that they've raised for research. And so it's great to see the event culminate and come together.
So how many people show up, more or less?
We should have about 750 walkers this
Nice,
year, but
nice.
It'll be in Central Park, so we can definitely host 1,000, and the more the merrier.
Of course, and hopefully Mother Nature will agree with us.
Oh, fingers crossed.
Yes. So once again, if anyone wanted to get involved, they would just go to the website. Do you have like a calendar of events there?
We do.
Or like an annual?
We do. We have a calendar of events nationwide, and then we also have more New York-based events. And if you're interested particularly in the Vision Walk, you can visit www.visionwalk.org.
And so the last thing before we go, if somebody were like in a state of trying to come to terms with losing their eyesight, what would you recommend for them?
I definitely recommend giving us a call or visiting our website, because a lot of people just don't realize that we're even out there, even though we are a national organization. And I've heard so many sighs of relief when people call and say, I'm just so glad I found this organization. And even though we are research-based, it's nice that we're funding or fundraising for things that are preventative.
All right, beautiful. And of course, support system is everything.
Absolutely.
Everything.
Just to know that we're here and in the
Absolutely.
community.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you,
Thank you
Olivia.
so much.
Thank you. And you guys, once again, the 12th annual New York Vision Walk is taking place on April 14th at the Central Park Bandshell. That's where the registration begins, and that's happening at 9 a.m. And once again, for more information on how you can participate, you can visit fightblindness.org/New York Vision Walk. And there you have it. So we have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll hear about an upcoming show taking place at Pregones Theaters. Don't go anywhere.